Hello everyone, today we will look into a special bonus segment for all job-oriented courses like interview prep. We believe that hands-on experience is important. That is why we offer practice interviews for our trainees, both one-on-one and group mock interviews. This way we are not just getting them ready for interviews, but also we are giving them important tips and knowledge for tough job market. In this session, our K21 experts will guide our trainees on answering techniques, how to introduce yourself, and what will be the first two questions you should expect to ensure they are ready to ace their interviews. Furthermore, they will reveal how to get the ball in your court, an important step that our expert employ to shift the dynamics of the interview in your favor. Stay tuned to learn how to take control and make a lasting impression during your next interview.
So Varun, just have a quick discussion, right? So Varun, can you please tell me about some of the experiences related with the projects that you have worked upon on the Azure, and just help me starting with the point that what all technologies that you have worked on so far.
So I worked on SQL, Python, and then after that in cloud. And currently I'm working on Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, Synapse Analytics, and Azure Databricks.
Microsoft Power BI. Okay, so these are the technologies that you have worked upon. So
Yes,
just
sir.
wanted to know what was the previous projects that you have worked upon. Tell me something about the project that your organization was dealing with, or let's say the part that you are in that particular project, and what exactly that you've been doing on day-to-day basis on that particular project.
Creating data pipelines using Azure Data Factory, cleaning and transforming data, taking calls of stakeholders and helping them to get a clear idea of what we covered and what's the output.
Okay. All right, guys. So it's just a generic, the discussion that we had, right? So I'm just going to rephrase the things, right? It's a first question, guys. It's a your impression maker that on this particular question, that how you go ahead and have started a discussion. So let's say if somebody asks this particular question to me, right? So I'll just talk about that the amount of the experience that I have and what are the diversity of the projects that I have worked upon. For an example, I would be starting that currently I'm working as an Azure solution architect, or probably as a senior DevOps engineer, or let's say as a DevOps engineer or as a cloud engineer. So guys, always whenever you will be starting with your interview, right, is the first thing that you will going to talk about what is your current profile, right? So first you will going to talk about your designation, and then on the basis of that, what all things that you are handling at the moment and what is your role is all about. And once you are done discussing that, then you will going to talk about your previous experiences. That for an example, let's say I have started my career. Let's take an example, let's say year 2015. Let's take an example over here. Okay. So I'll start. My name is Rishabh. Currently, I'm working as an Azure solution architect and a senior DevOps engineer. And currently, I'm working with, let's say, a banking firm. And with that particular banking firm, as a part of my job, I'm taking care of the infra level deployments of the banking firm that we are working for day-to-day basis. And I'm taking care of the network level infrastructure architecture. And also I'm working closely with the DevOps engineering team. And further, on day-to-day basis, we need to take care of several different environments. Let's say most of the job that we do with the development team, that our development team will be working on the code on daily basis, where we are having multiple sprint plannings. And on the basis of that, we'll go ahead and make the changes to facilitate the development team for the CI/CD pipeline. And currently, let's say we are using a Java-based or a .NET-based requirement. And you will going to talk about that what all technical aspect to that particular pipeline. That currently we are going to go with the YAML-based pipeline that we are using, and on the basis of that, we are proceeding with the deployment with the monolithic as well as with the advanced architecture with the microservices. And currently our entire application has been hosted on the AKS cluster at the moment, and in the background, we'll be using the 𝒂𝒄𝒆 databases. On the architecting side, I'm also taking care of the requirement of the cost management, where we need to bring the automation in, and how we can go ahead and save the cost over here. And as far as my previous experiences, I was working with any XYZ organization, and in that I've started my career as a network engineer or probably as a support engineer. And on that particular profile, I was working with so and so profile, and we were taking care of that. So basically, was the whole point is that when you start giving your interview, right, the first thing is that a person should not need to ask another question about the things that you are working on. It has to be so much explained that the person understands that what exactly that you are working on. So we are talking about the clarities in the answer. Okay. Now that is one thing, right? Now they will go ahead and start asking the question that, okay, now tell me something about your profile, that have you encountered any challenging situation while working in this particular infra level and how you have cope up with that particular example. Or let's say a generic question, guys, a scenario based question. Let's say there is a web application and it is not connecting with the database. So what all possible areas that you can possibly look into in order to troubleshoot this particular situation? Clear, guys? Now there is a question which is coming, that Mohammed has a question over here, that what if my current job is not related to the job? See guys, if it is not related, you can just go ahead and talk about something which is closer to the things what these organizations are working on. So whenever you get any particular job application, let's say you applied for a job, definitely you will be going into the JD first, and with the help of the JD, you also know that what kind of this particular organization will be and what all the other areas these organizations will be working on. So have some understanding to that as well. And when you start discussing it, right? So you will start with the certifications that you have worked recently. So I'm working with this particular organization as an associate or whatever profile it will be. And currently my organization is going into the transformation and they are moving their business to the cloud. And as a part of this particular transformation, I have done so and so certification so far in order to equip myself to be compatible, or let's say so that we will be able to handle the situation efficiently. And then you will go ahead and talk about something that you have learned, that so far we have the expertise on the networking or probably the infrastructure or probably the app service where we are proceeding with the deployment, and we have also designed so basically, even if the profile that you are applying, it is not relevant, something that you have worked on, but you have to find something relevant so that you can bring that impression over there. So do not fake anything, but do not, I would say, do not undersell yourself. Because I'm working with a different profile, it should not be the reason that I should not be able to answer or should I not be able to bring the important requirements into the plate during the discussion, guys. So what we need to make sure is that the person who is taking the interview will understand you so well that they ask those kind of the questions that will be relevant associated what you have explained. So let's say if you want somebody to ask the question as per the areas what you want them to ask, so you will going to talk more about those particular components. Clear? Now let's take a generic question over here. Okay. Of course, guys, I mean, if somebody's, there's a question, what if you are a beginner? So definitely, I'm not expecting that somebody is a beginner applying for the solution architect profile or senior DevOps profile, right? Definitely, you will going to apply for the engineer for, let's say, a cloud engineer profile. And let's say the job requirement will be having the experience of 3 to 4 years, not more than that, right? So in that particular situation, you will going to talk about that's something that you have accomplished associated with the technology. For an example, recently I have worked on a particular project where I was able to manage the Azure Active Directory with the help of the groups, and we were able to create the resources and we were able to manage the security associated with the networking. So basically what we will going to talk about something that you have recently learned. Clear, Gabriel? Are we able to follow? Guys, the thing is over here is company is not there to give you the opportunity. Company is there to get the job done of their own with the help of you as an working employee, right? So until you are not bringing anything fruitful to them as a part of the interview where they think that they can utilize you as a part of the resource in their organization, definitely it will not be going into the right direction. So what we need to make sure that with the JD itself, we should have an understanding that what kind of the question they will going to ask. And also during the explanation, see guys, by the time they have asked the question and you are explaining, the ball is in your court. What does that mean? That you can transform your answer in such a manner that you can predict that what will be the next question coming in your way. And you can continue to bring the explanation in such a manner that the next question, for an example, I'm going to ask a basic question, guys. I hope participants who are from the Azure background must be aware about it. Guys, what is network security group? Anyone, guys? Anybody who has recently went into a training or already working on a requirement, what is a network security group, guys? Go ahead.
It's a resource that's used to express the rules that allow inbound and outbound traffic to a virtual network.
Anything else you would like to include?
Rishabh, this is Raj, and to basically lay down the rules and policies to access the Azure resources. That's also one of the functions probably for energy.
Okay. See, guys, the first answer and the second answer. Let's talk about it, right? The first answer has started with that, the network security group help us creating inbound and outbound rules. And with the help of that, we can control the accessibility, right? The second answer is that it will be controlling the accessibility of the resource. Now, when you say a resource, guys, there are many resources that you can create in Azure. And if you talk about the accessibility, right, it can be managed with the help of the Azure Active Directory authentication and the authorization. It can be managed through the role-based access control as well. It can be managed through the firewall as well. So how you will differentiate among the network security group? What I mean is that when you bring the discussion with your first 2-3 lines, it would be clear that your answer is going into the right direction. So the thing is, if somebody going to ask this particular question to me, that what is a network security group? So the answer would be that network security group is nothing but it is a resource that we put at a NIC level or at a subnet level of any particular network or a machine, and we can create inbound and outbound rule with the help of that. Now, while creating inbound and outbound rule, we need to keep an requirement. We need to keep an eye on the requirements like source port, source IP, destination port, destination IP, and on the basis of the protocol. And on the basis of that, we can create inbound and outbound rule. We also call them 5-tuple hash. And we can create either allow or either deny rule with the help of the NSG. Now, there can be a possibility that we need to create multiple rules and there will be the chances of the confliction will be there. So what we will do that we will going to set the priority. So in the network security group, we can set the priority between 100 to 4096, lower the number, higher the priority. So for a use case, let's say if I have multiple resources running among different subnets and I would like to only communicate on a particular port and I only want to communicate between these two subnets, so we can create the network security group on the basis of the subnet 1 as a source and subnet 2 as a destination, and we can create allow and deny rule with the help of that. Now guys, let me ask this thing. After giving this particular explanation, do you think there will be any other question coming in your way from the network security group, guys? Anyone, guys?
Yeah, I think the important part of your answer was explaining that there's different ways of managing security at the firewall level, the DNS level. There's different ways of doing it, and then to articulate why you would pick a network security group to use over those other situations. And it seems like the network security group is what you use to manage security and traffic at the subnet level. So that's different than managing traffic at the machine level or the virtual network level. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So basically it is at a NIC level or either at a subnet level. Yeah.
Thank you for watching our expert session from K21. If you are eager to explore more, join our free job-oriented courses like choose from a range of cloud computing and tailored program of your interest and background. Check out the links in the description below and let's connect in the upcoming free class. Stay tuned for more insightful videos. See you soon.